All right. Pedagogy of the Oppressed. Paulo Freire, 19 published in 1968, originally translated into English in 1970 by Mayra Ramos. So just off the bat, I'm not going to do this text justice by any means, by a long shot, because every chapter is just a standalone theory in its own right. So Paulo Freire is just a legendary intellectual and educator who took just every thought I've had, every interest, every overarching theme, and condensed it into one cohesive theory of what education is. So it's a counter-hegemonic, truly counter-hegemonic approach to pedagogy, of course, education, the academia, the school system, etc. Um, that I mean, it's three levels above. It's just such high-level theory, and it encompasses existentialism, Hegelian dialectics, linguistics, critical race theory, etc. And it's just it's perfect. It's literally perfect. Like I have no criticism. It literally conscientized me, right? So the main ideas are basically the oppressor and oppressed dialectics, and how creations of ruling classes and classes that are oppressed are necessarily predicated upon violence, and that the violence that the oppressor must undertake to free themselves um, is not equivalent to the violence that they used to be oppressed, or the violence that is used to oppress them. Um, and the process of coming to understand your society and social relations needs to be undertaken through critical education. And that entire process is called conscientization, or in Portuguese, conscientização. And this is mostly just going to be a summary because, I mean, I can't add anything. How could anyone? So, I mean, it's just beautiful. So that's the preface. Um, yeah, I mean, there's just so little I can add. The book is literally perfect. Like, honestly, you should just go read it and I should stop talking, but try to add value here. What else was great? Yeah, the banking model. So there's the banking model of education, which we all go through. It's like learn these facts, spit them out for um, a test, and then learn what you need to learn to perform on the job, etc. But never critically um, approach labor critiques, or sorry, never critically approach labor relations, never critically approach um, ownership structures of capital, never critically approach what you're taught, um, all of that basically. And yeah, just be a cog in the machine, to use simple metaphors. I feel outclassed, obviously I am, by this book. Um, but yeah, his version of education is, and I can't remember the term, but the dialogic model, where um, teachers and students are collaborators in education, and teachers can learn as much from their students as the students can learn from the teachers, and that education necessarily has to be collaborative for it to be of any value, which I definitely agree with. Um, um, yeah, I mean, it was huge. What else was there? I mean, there was just far too much. I mean, in terms of linguistic aspects, there was just so much about what language is used for, and being able to name situations and name the world and name your relationship to the world, as opposed to being informed of what your relationship is. Um, and the use of language for basically empty gestures to re-establish power, versus uh, proper use of language to um, basically express your views upon the world, for the a chance for the oppressed to express their views upon the world, and then express their view of the situation. And this has informed a ton of linguistic work that says that people being studied and languages being studied can't just be um, acted upon. You also need input from speakers in the community. So, I mean, this is just another big foundational text. Um, And yeah, I would like to make a longer video on it at some point, but just to keep a tradition of making the videos. That's pretty much it, but I'm going to read this again. It was a really exciting text. 5 out of 5. 11 out of 10. Yeah, can't wait to read it again.